Grief often distorts our thoughts and tells us lies. And today we will explore 2 truths and 1 lie that are common in grief. So be sure to watch to the end so you can see how these truths and a lie may actually be holding you back. This video doesn't involve research and statistics today. It is more of an opinion piece. Welcome to our little corner of YouTube where we are dedicated to doing grief differently. 2 truths and a lie. These 2 truths and 1 lie may not apply to all of you watching, but I have observed that most of my clients in my private practice at one time or another reveal these thoughts in therapy. And I know that I have suffered from these thoughts in the early days of my grief as well. Truth number 1, I feel guilty. Truth number 2, I feel like I let them down. And 1 lie, I am a bad person. Grief, guilt, and remorse are all one big messy knot. Much of the pain of grief is forward-based, of what won't happen in the future because of their death. But one of the biggest experiences of grief is guilt, remorse, and responsibility emanating from the past. Would have, could have, should have, can fill our brains. Watch to the end when I explain how this might then contaminate our hearts. I have had clients describe that their great-grandmother died in their sleep in their own house with their dog at their side. Personally, I think that is a perfect exit plan. However, even under these lovely circumstances, clients have then gone to find places of guilt and remorse or exaggerated responsibility. If only, and then you can fill in the blank. If only I had called her that day. If only I had counted her pill box. If only I had gone to the last doctor's appointment. If only I had visited longer that weekend. Please do an inventory and ask yourself if you have put yourself through this battery of questions. Then, when the death isn't as uncomplicated as a great-grandparent passing, the questions get larger and more distorting. If only I had seen the signs. If only I had asked for forgiveness. If only I had given forgiveness. If only I had not signed the DNR. If only I had advocated sooner. If only I hadn't left the room for a coffee, a bathroom break, or a night's rest. These thoughts are all invitations to guilt and remorse. But here's the issue. All of these thoughts are filtered through what is called hindsight bias. Hindsight bias is also known as the I should have known it all along phenomenon, or sometimes it's called creeping determinism. It is the common tendency for people who are grieving to perceive past events as having been more predictable than they actually were. So what this means in plain language is, I should have known, and then I could have changed the outcome. Hindsight bias is normal and natural. However, it leads us to have an inflated sense of power and control and influence, which is exactly what we need when we are grieving. It creates a distorted memory of responsibility and knowledge. So the 2 common truths are, number 1, I feel guilty, and number 2, I let them down. Let us know in the comments if you think you may have experienced hindsight bias in holding those thoughts. So here is how hindsight bias then contaminates our heart. Because the lie is, I am a bad person. This can be a subtle influence that you might not even be aware of. It can also become a very fixed belief that you don't even know to challenge. But here's the kicker. How can you challenge or shift your grief if you even subtly believe that you are a bad person? Think how much this would limit your heart and your belief that you still deserve love, respect, and a future that includes joy. It has huge implications for your grief trajectory. Holding that thought has huge implications for grief therapy. Please give some consideration to my humble opinion in your quest to have a relationship with your grief. Do you feel worthy of feeling better? Or does your guilt and remorse from hindsight bias tell you to keep suffering? Please let me know in the comments if this makes any sense to you, because it makes perfect sense in my complicated, nuanced therapist brain. But I thought it was important to share this thought with you. Also, please subscribe so that you know when my next video comes out, where I explore how these truths and a lie can also impact those who you love, those who are around you, and add to their grief when you leave this world. And as you sift and sort through the influence of two truths and a lie, I send you kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart. Thank you, and I'll see you again.